Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm Dr. Rashi Jain. I'm an aging researcher at Department of Geriatric Medicine, AIMS, Delhi. And today I will be discussing my work that we are doing at AIMS in the field of aging. So we are conducting a cohort study to identify the biomarkers of aging uh, that we can identify from the newborn till the oldest adult. So my talk will consist of major 4 points. What are we doing? Why are we doing it? How are we doing it? And what we'll be getting after this research. So this is a short glimpse what we are doing, as it is already been discussed by Dr. Prasoon day before yesterday. But who have not attended that, I'm just giving a brief of it. So we are recruiting the participant from the newborn till the oldest adult. For the newborn, we are taking only the cord blood, and for other cohorts, we are doing some other assessments as well. So what we are doing, we have certain domains that we are studying. It is a clinical, functional, nutritional behavior, physical activity, microbiome, sleep, telomere, cognition, methylation, and mental health. So these are the domains that we are studying for every participant other than the newborn, and why we are doing it. So basically, we have three aims to identify the biomarkers that participate in the aging process, to find out any correlation between the chronological age and biological age, and third, how these biomarkers participate in the disease prediction, mortality, and morbidity. So this is the aim, and what are we doing? Now comes the highlight, how we are doing it, and why I am discussing it, because I want to show you how precisely and methodically we are doing it. So anybody around Delhi can participate, and that will be a win-win situation for both of us. You will get the assessment, we will get the data. And the second thing, it is a community-based study. And when you reach the community, they generally don't ask first, what are you doing? What genes are you doing? What proteins are you doing? And will it be able to reverse aging? The first question is, when will we have to come? How much time will you take? How much blood will you take? It is invasive or non-invasive? So these are the basic questions that we have to explain them. So that's why I'm just step by step telling you how we are doing it, so people can participate, and how can we reach the community at a scale. So first of all, our study site is AIMS, and we have a separate department of geriatrics. This is we call National Center of Aging. So this is our study site. So I will start with the participant registration, and then we take the consent. This is the basic thing that any researchers do. So first domain is the clinical biochemistry and molecular biomarker. And we start at around 9:30, because it is a community based. We arrange their appointments in advance. And whenever any participant come, first of all, we take the empty stomach blood sample for the clinical work and the molecular work. For the clinical setting, for the clinical biomarkers, we do the CBC, liver function test, renal function test, lipid profile, iron profile, thyroid profile, glucose, insulin, HbA1c, and CRP. So these are the biochemistry that we do, and this is all in-house. We did it in the AIMS. Second is the laboratory biomarkers. So whatever we are doing at the molecular level, we are checking some soluble blood proteins, telomere attrition assay, and DNA methylation. Uh, Telomere, methylation, and what are the proteins we are doing. So as you know, there are the 12 hallmarks of aging. So we have chosen 12 proteins surrogate to each hallmarks. So these are the proteins that we are doing: NF kappa B for the chronic inflammation, P16IK for alpha for cellular senescence, AKT for dysregulated nutrient sensing, PGC1 alpha for mitochondrial dysregulation, same for the FOXO3A, BUBR1 for genomic instability, MPK alpha for macroautophagy, HSF1 for loss of proteostasis, SIRTIN1 for epigenetic alteration, and mTOR for nutrient sensing. So these are the 12 proteins that represent the 12 hallmarks of aging. So it is a we have chosen on the basis of literature. So it may be the accurate surrogate marker or not. So that will we find out in the study. Second thing is, after the blood sampling, we move to the patient details and the lifestyle features. So it is a dietary pattern that we record. It is a 24-hour diet recall pattern in which we ask them what we have they eaten in the last 24, their typical diet, and to get the idea about the non-typical diet that they consumed at the weekends and all. So we also record that the typical and non-typical diet. And then these are the questionnaires that define their lifestyle. We check their social economic status, physical activity questionnaire, social well-being scale, family satisfaction scale, substance abuse, nutrition, behavior, sleep assessment, spiritual well-being, perceived self-help, anxiety scale, and attitudes. Most of these questions are quantitative, so we can analyze them, and some of the questions are qualitative, in which we ask them what they think about the aging process and how they perceive their health. So these are the qualitative as well as quantitative. Next, we move on the cognitive assessments. So we are doing 4 cognitive assessments. First is digit span test. It is to check their short-term memory. Second is the Stroop color and word test that we give idea about the uh, interference memory. This is a test that give you idea how can you switch your memory, how fast you can switch your memory. And third is the Wisconsin card sorting test, that is a flexible thinking test. And fourth one is the Ray auditory verbal learning test, that is for the episodic memory. So these are the cognitive assessment that we are doing. Next we move to the physical health assessments. So these are the tests that we will check for the physical health and physiological function. First is 6-minute walk test, VO2 max, hand grip strength as a picture shown, the finger dexterity test, that is finger dexterity test. And the next one is the physical performance battery, that includes the gait speed, balance, and fall detection. And last one is the BIA. So these are the physical assessment that we do with the participants. This is a BIA that we do, and the balance assessment, gait speed assessment, and blood pressure, grip strength. So all are the indicator of their physiological health and physical function. Lung assessment we do. Next we do the microbiomic. We also take the blood sample, the stool samples for the gut microbiomics. So after this assessment, what will we get out of this journey? So that is the important. What we are planning to get after all these exhaustive assessments. So we are planning to integrate all these parameters, whether the lifestyle, cognition, clinical, and physiological functioning, psychological functioning. So we aim to integrate all these factors and to develop an algorithm that can tell us how lifestyle and the proteins go uh, uh, go each other, how the changes in the lifestyle can predict the changes in the aging proteins that we are checking, the 12 proteins. So this is the aim. The primary aim for now is to just get the data as a separate domain. The clinical, we are comparing the data along the cohorts separately, clinical data, psychological data, how these things are changing with the age, and the main outcome to develop the algorithm. So this is we are doing for now. And we are expanding this study. For now the study size is the 200. We are recruiting the 40 participants in each cohort, but we are now with the funding agencies and the private partners as well to expand it at the more the community level and the scale level. So we will be trying to include the more samples. And for now we are recruiting the participant from Delhi only, because we want to follow them for certain periods of time for 3 years or 5 years. So we are recruiting participants that are around Delhi. But if we expand that, we need the more heterogeneous samples, more omics data. For now we are only doing the methylation, but to get the more about the internal process that we are having in the body, that we need the more omics data, whether proteomics, transcriptomics. And skin and oral biomacrome is another aspect that we will be adding. Facial and retinal aging is recently, there are so many work has been done in the facial aging and retinal aging, and how can it be related with the aging process. So we are also trying to inculcate these two parameters. So this is the our team head by the Dr. Prasoon Chatterjee. And so I keep my talk short so we can discuss what we can do later, and any suggestion what should we incorporate, and any comments from your side.
Very nice work.
Thank you.
Quick question. So you separated cohort A, B, C, D. Is that apart from the age stratification, is there anything else different in these kind of 5 different cohorts?
Anything else?
Anything else different apart from the age stratification, age grouping?
No, we are just recruiting on the basis of age.
And then the other question, when you do the analysis, are you going to use the age as a categorical variable, basically age A, age B, age C, age D, according to the age group, age bracket, or are you going to use it as a continuous variable?
No, we will use it as a categorical variable.
Okay.
For now, it has been decided to use it a categorical variable, and later on when the analysis is done, let's see. But for now, we are using it as a categorical variable.
Okay. And are you going to consider gestational age for the cord blood?
Sorry?
Are you going to use gestational age at birth for the cord blood? Because that will have a huge impact on the plasma proteome composition.
Yeah, actually, for we are the integration of data and all this thing we are applying on the cohort B to cohort E. We are taking the newborn cohort as a separate one. Just for we will check the blood proteins and we will then we'll adjust the things. But for other things, the newborn cohort is different, and all the integration will take place from the cohort B to cohort E.
Hello.
Yeah.
So for cellular senescence, you said you will be looking at P16 expression level. So
Yeah.
do you also plan to check for P21? Because there are studies which show that in different cell types, there is a differential upregulation of P16 and P21 when we consider senescence.
Okay. For now, we have just decided these 12, but later on, when we are expanding, we are trying to add more proteins because we have chosen it on the base of literature. So this is not only protein that participate, but we need to, according to the budget and all things. So we need to decide one from the each group. So we have chosen that because we have budget constraints as well. But yeah, P21 also participates, and we can also add that.
Okay. Thank you. Very nice talk here.
Sorry.
Yeah, you spoke about all these hallmarks of aging. I just wanted to know if you can narrow it down or something. Actually, I'm a little confused. How are you doing it? All from the blood proteome or something?
Yeah, we are collecting the blood and we are doing the SPR, surface plasma resonance technique,
Okay.
to check the expression of all these proteins.
Okay. And does the preliminary data show you something that you can narrow it down to 4 markers or something?
Actually, this is a kind of pilot study. Our sample size is very short, 40 from each cohort, and that is the purpose. We will check all these proteins in these cohorts, and whenever we get some significant proteins, then we will expand the study for the 1,000 sample size or 2,000 sample size. Our sample size is so small, so that's why we are doing all these proteins, because we also know practically we can't get the difference in all proteins. It's practically we will get the difference in all proteins that there are changes with the age. So whatever protein we will get, that we will use for in the larger cohort.
Okay. Thank you.
What is your exclusion criteria for this study? Like for healthy participants, are you also considering any kind of diseases which they had undergone in previous life?
Yeah, no surgery, and controlled diabetes and controlled hypertension.
So
We are
only medication of controlled diabetes and hypertension, or no medication?
for the group that is above the 60, so medicine control diabetes or hypertension, and if they are below 60, so control diabetes, control hypertension without any medication.
Okay, so apart from a recent surgery, you are not considering any kind of malaria, COVID-19, nothing like that?
No, that is not the exclusion criteria.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr.
Okay, thank you so much.